Welcome to the program, folks. My name is Henry Cheatham, HB Cheatham. I'm the host of this program here called Here We Are. And on the line with me today is Mr. Roger Cador. He is the, you retired now, or you still a coaching coach?
Retired 3 years as the baseball coach at Southern University.
Yeah, good. Okay, he's a former coach at Southern University, the Jaguars in Louisiana. And he's going to chat with us today for a little while here as we talk about the great Hank Aaron. Coach Cador has sent many young men, some to the majors as well. In the world of baseball, he's done a good job with them. Coach Cador, welcome to the program.
Mr. Cheatham, it's my pleasure.
Yes. So, Coach Cador, tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about, the program that you ran at Southern University.
Well, I was there for 33 years as the baseball coach, worked 40 years at Southern. We had a really good run of many good players, and it's to the grace that their parents trusted in what we were doing. And we graduated a tremendous amount of kids because we made graduation as the most important thing. And we had 62 players who signed professional contracts. 8 of them played in the big league. So we had a really good run, good situation there. And we provided a lot of opportunities.
Well, that's a good thing. Coach Cador, now, did you ever get a chance to meet with Hank Aaron?
Met him on many occasions. We became good friends. My first encounter with Hank, or the Hammer, as I called him, Hammer.
Yeah.
Was in 1974. I had an injury. I was playing in Newport News, Virginia. Had an injury. Had to go to see a Dr. Wells in Atlanta for evaluation. And after the evaluation, they told me that Braves were playing home that night, that I could go down, watch the game, and they ushered me into the dugout where the Hammer came, saw me sitting there. I had a shirt on that said Southern University, and he came and talked to me. And that was my first encounter with him. Upon that conversation, we found out a lot about each other. And then, fast forward, the Hammer retired from the Milwaukee Brewers in '76 and became the director of the minor league system of the Atlanta Braves in '77. I was playing in Savannah, Georgia, and he had taken over for his former brother-in-law, Bill Lucas, who became the general manager and the first African-American general manager. And Bill had shared something with Hank, or the Hammer, that I could be an asset to him to help him with the young African-American kids. So Hank came to Savannah, and after he visited with people, he said, "Hey, Roger, can I talk to you?" I said, "Sure, Mr. Aaron," at that time. That's what he said, "Don't, I'm Hank, So we went down the right field, left first baseline, sat in the bullpen where the pitchers usually sit. And he shared to me that he needed my help in making sure that we can have a dialogue with the young African American players, making sure that they understood all of the things he was trying to do. Hank felt that these young men may not understand everything that he was trying to do. And plus, he came out of a situation where communicating to young people at that level wasn't what he did. I really felt that Major League, the Atlanta Braves and Major League Baseball missed the mark with Hammer. They should have made him an ambassador once he retired. They would have gotten more mileage out of him. They would have attracted more African-American kids to baseball had they done it at the time in 1977. And I think we missed the mark there.
Yeah, you're right. Because since that time, the ball players coming out of the Dominican Republic and out of Latin America have even came to the black colleges here in the United States. Am I correct?
That's right, because there was no one they could look up to. Had they had someone at the pinnacle the highest level, like a Hank Aaron, I think more young people would have been attracted to the sport. And we had no one do it. There was no one. Major League Baseball had nobody to face in a ambassador roleship because you know baseball was on TV once a week back in the days. You got me?
Yes.
Once a week, and it was on Saturday when everybody was outdoors.
Right.
So my point is, we missed a tremendous opportunity by not promoting someone like him into an ambassadorship where he could have gone a lot of places and sold the game of baseball, and young black kids would have flocked to play the game. And I think we lost that. Remember, when you look in the 70s, that's when the drop-off began with kids, black kids playing baseball. Tremendous drop-off.
Yeah, they all wanted to play basketball or football because that's what was on television. And then you get into the period of Michael Jordan and those guys, and that's when they, yeah, you're right. You had Hank Aaron as an ambassador, and because you had Barry Bonds and a bunch of other young guys who were there who could have been very instrumental in attracting these young men to this game. Great game of baseball.
That's right. I really feel that, and I think we're feeling that right now. So it may take another 20 years before we can start really trying to get them back. And the only reason we may be getting them back is the tremendous amount of injuries football is dealing. I mean, they're taking a big blow with the injuries in football. And that's why some parents may say, too dangerous for my kid. I want him to play baseball. Listen, I serve on the diversity committee for Bud Selig. And I can tell you right now, if we don't attract the most talented athlete, we got to be able to take some of the most talented athletes away from football. Basketball is not so much taking them, but it's football that's taking some of the most talented athletes away. Because basketball, you're only talking about 12 to 14 people on the team in the NBA. You understand?
Yes.
So that's not where we're losing them. It's where you got 80-some kids going to college in football who shouldn't probably be playing. You got me?
Right.
That's where we're losing them, to football. So, and we don't have the coaches in the African-American community that once existed. You got me?
Yes, sir.
You know, so there's a multitude of things that are taking place that have, I know we off the subject a little from Hank Aaron, but we need to talk about, we know about Hank Aaron, but we need to also talk about how we can also engage our young people back into baseball, because that's where we need them, okay?
I agree with you on that. You're absolutely right, you know. You're right. That's all part and parcel of, you know, the Hank Aaron story, you know, because baseball is an American story, and Hank Aaron is an American story, you know.
And if people have to really read his story, so how he started, very meager, humble beginning.
Yes.
I mean, it wasn't like Hank Aaron, anybody knew about Hank Aaron like they know about kids today. He was a no name, nobody.
Yeah.
They found him playing softball and cross wrist. If you may be old enough to know when he was cross wrist, meaning he had batted right hand, he had his left hand on top of his right hand. You got me?
Yes.
That's the beautiful thing about such a great story that is missing. It's not like Hank Aaron was a great name. Here was a young man that was, if we could say, a little inadequate to play baseball because of the way he swung the bat.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was hitting with his left hand on top of his right. And then finally they got him to swing right, put his right hand on top of his left, and the rest is history.
Exactly right, you know. And
that's a story that don't be told enough.
Right. And the thing about Hank also, he played in a so-called Milwaukee, which was a small town. Atlanta was not also a big town, but it was a town that made news because of the transition from Milwaukee to Atlanta, you know.
And it was ideal for Hank
Yes.
because he wasn't a attention seeker.
Right.
He needed something where he can go under the radar, so to speak. You got me?
Yes. Right.
And I remember talking to Hammer about, after 35 is where he hit a whole bunch of home runs.
Okay. Yeah.
And I asked him what happened. Why? How did it all? He said the great thing happened in baseball. They started signing the live arm pitchers. Once they started taking, and they were throwing more fastball, with the way his swing was, he was able to hit the ball just far enough to get him out the park.
Yeah.
Because he didn't hit no monastic home run where went 500 feet. All his home runs was far enough to clear the fence. That's what was so beautiful about it.
Yes.
You got me?
Yes, sir. That's exactly right, and you're absolutely right. There's a lot of time, people, you don't follow it, the way in which things turn out, and you're right. It turned out that Hank was in a small town, personality, that, he was reserved.
Right, reserved.
Right, and you're right. He learned how to play that game, and he learned how to hit those. You're right, those pitchers, So.
No, he said that that was the best thing ever happened to him.
Yeah.
Because before they didn't have live on pitchers in baseball. You got me?
Yeah.
He said, but once they got him, he said it took off because then he went to Atlanta Fulton County Stadium where he was a little above sea level, and the ball carried just a little more. He said all of those things played into him being able to hit that much,
right.
that many home runs. So live on pitches, Atlanta being a little more high, elevated, and the ball carried just a little more. Oh, Hammer, what a great story. It was like it was made in heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate your time, and I want to thank you for sharing this, this inside story of Hank Aaron. And thank God.
Can I tell another story about Hank Aaron?
Yes.
See, because we're going to talk about baseball, but I want to tell a story that had nothing to do with baseball.
All right.
And it happened in the winter, December, probably December 2nd, 3rd, 1984, in H-Town, Houston, Texas, at the Hilton Hotel in downtown Houston, at the baseball winter meeting. Hank and I was in the lobby talking. The Hammer and I were talking in the lobby, and walked through the lobby. Had a congregation of people following, and he said, "Look, Ron Marichal."
Okay.
Well, you got to understand, to be in the moment, to hear the excitement in his voice.
Yeah.
To say, look, Ron Marichal. Can you imagine all the iconic battles that they had?
Oh, yes.
That's what he was thinking when Ron walked through there. And then Juan, the Dominican dandy, walked through the lobby, dressed so dapper. He was a dapper dresser. And and the Hammer looked at what I said to someone. Bob Costa, Ken Burns would have loved to have been there to catch him in the moment. See, when you interview a person, you're interviewing them in a setting.
Yes.
But when you can get someone to show the true emotion in a live setting, it's just so precious. I was there to see him and say, I had so much more respect for the Hammer.
Yeah.
Because he respected how great Juan Marichal was.
Right. It was a great picture. You're right.
And today's young people don't respect the fact that someone may be as good as them. They've been told, you're the best, you're the greatest, you're number one and all. Hank realized he was as good as he was, but what I gathered, being right next to him on his right side when he said, look, Juan Marichal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man, that was such a special moment.
Right, yeah.
And I got to experience it.
Right. And that's a good thing, too, you know.
And that's why I wanted to share, because people want to talk about the 755 home runs,
Yeah.
the 25 All-Star games. That moment was real. It was not rehearsed. It was not in the studio where you're talking about something you had accomplished. That was instinctively done. It was an instinct. It was done on the moment, which many people never catch.
Right.
You never catch this kind of moment.
That's true. That's exactly right. It's a great moment. And I could hear the excitement. I could hear the excitement in your voice as you, relive it.
Reliving it. And I gave you the time. It was about 11:30 a.m. in the morning on December 2nd or 3rd, 1984, in the Hilton Hotel in Houston, Texas. I remember the moment.
Yeah.
But I could recite it so clearly.
Right. Because it's something that's in your mind. It will be there forever. Yes, I got you.
Will be there forever. And I had so much more respect for the Hammer because he respected Juan Marichal.
Right.
That's what you really want to see.
Right.
That someone respects a competitor. They competed against each other.
Yes.
Probably for 20-some years.
Yes. Yes, that's true.
They competed against each other.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he won sometimes, and Juan Marichal won sometimes. You got me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's exactly.
But he said, look, Juan Marichal. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
So you sound like you were in church. There you go.
Oh, my. I'm going to use a Dick Enberg. Oh, my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and one good thing about it, he did get a chance to see baseball recognize the official players of this game. You know, when he brought the Negro stats and all that stuff into it, how can you not be real, you know? I mean, these guys were some great.
He lived just long enough to see that.
Right.
And he had to feel good about it because he came out of the Negro League.
Right,
Indianapolis Colts.
Right.
So he had to feel good for all of those players who didn't get to come to the Hall, but were good enough if they had different opportunities.
Right.
You got me?
That's right. All right, I want to thank you, Coach, unless you got something else to say. What kind of, are you keeping up with the Jaguars now as much?
You know, the virus is keeping me in, and I'll wait to see what happens this spring. You got me?
Yes, sir. All right, well, I want to thank you very much for this opportunity. And you take good care of yourself, and you do stay safe. And we must look out for this doggone virus. Hopefully, God will take it away from us and let us get back so we can get outside and enjoy this great game of baseball.
Sounds good, Mr. Cheatham.
All right, thank you very much, Coach.
All right.
You
Bye-bye.
take care. God bless you. All righty now.